It is at minimum an interesting time to be a Minnesota sports fan. We crunch the numbers and the headlines with three guys that do just that for a living: Patrick Royce, Lavelle E. Neal, and the one and only Sid Hartman.
Yes, sir.
The Vikings fell flat today.
Well, talking to John Sullivan after the game, he said Detroit's one of the toughest teams to play in the league because they have such a good secondary. He said they can blitz you, they can rush you, they can hurry you. Watching the TV up in the press box at one time, Bridgewater was the subject of 18 hurries, 14 knockdowns, and 8 sacks.
Those are not good numbers, Sid.
This offensive line, this got nothing to do with Ponder being better than Bridgewater.
We'll get to that later.
40 seconds to mention
Ponder had a better quarterback rating at Green Bay than Bridgewater had.
Well, they were both
yesterday.
in the low 40s, so I wouldn't say it was.
It's an indication how bad this offensive line is. The right guard can't play. The left tackle is playing terrible. Johnson's playing terrible. But on the other hand,
how about the right tackle today, Lodehilt? They were running around him like a swinging gate, too.
If you don't have a running attack, and they have no running attack, you're going to have a hard time winning games. I can't care who you play. I mean, they know you're going to have to pass, and they have no running backs.
After the game, Mike Zimmer let his team have it, Patrick. You and I were talking before the show. I wonder if that was by design and the science of it, without emotion, or was it the assistant coach that hasn't been in the hot seat yet?
I think there was emotion involved. I don't know if he wanted. I don't know if it was planned or not. But from what I didn't hear it, but I read the quotes, and he lit them up pretty good, including I like the quote, "I'm the boss. They have to make me happy. I don't have to make them happy," which is. I think that was directed towards Cordero Patterson and all his complaints about not getting the ball often enough. And he did also say if he wants the ball, he has to get open. So,
Lavelle, you've covered this stuff long enough to different sports. When a manager, when do they tend to throw somebody under the bus publicly?
Well, they usually throw them under the bus when they've talked to them privately and they've gotten after them in practice and in the meetings. And it gets to a point where, well, if that's not motivating you, then we're going to say something in the press and see how that works out. So we'll see how Cordero responds to this. But it wasn't just on him today. It was hard for Teddy to get the ball downfield because he had Dominican Sue and all those guys in his face. It was ridiculous in the second half because they just pinned their ears back and went after him, and it wasn't pretty.
So, Sid, how has Mike Zimmer, do you think, held up during this? How has he done this season?
I think he's done all right. You can't lose the players they've lost. I mean, they've lost some key players.
You could say that.
Huh?
Yeah, your quarterback, your tight end, your running back, your linebacker.
Right guard.
Your right guard.
You just don't have replacements for those guys. I mean, Adrian Peterson was a very important guy in this team.
I think that's fair to say, too. MVP a couple years ago.
Every team had to direct their defense on Adrian Peterson. That's what they did. They don't have to worry about the running backs anymore. They come in there, we're going to get the quarterback, and that's what they've been doing all year. Even Cassell, they were getting him. He was getting how many times did he get knocked down in the New England game?
Yeah, you're right.
The thing is, though, is that in the NFL, dozens of players are going to end up on IR. Dozens more are going to end up injured. You have to learn how to improvise and overcome.
Well, Bush and Calvin Johnson were out for Detroit today. And they looked bad on offense, too, by the way.
Yeah, they did. They did. But you still have to make adjustments and try to win with the people. I watched, I'm not trying to rip my Bears, but the Bears won at Atlanta today with Kasheem Green, Darryl Sharpton, and Christian Jones at linebacker because the other 4 guys were injured. So you have to
they're that beat up, too, huh?
Yeah, so you have to figure out ways to make it happen.
Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, injuries are terrible, and I agree with Sid. The big loss is the other guys you kind of fit, and they don't have a right guard. I blame that on the front office. They don't have any. They came into the season with no depth in their offensive line. If any of these 5 guys hurt, they were going to be in big trouble. But it's Peterson made him play defense difference. There's no doubt about that. But as the game progressed, 2 weeks ago, Teddy, he kind of stood in the pocket, and he looked big and confident. And by the time this game was over, he looked like Hervé Villechai. He looked like he was about 4'6". He's got no physical stature. And by the way, get rid of the white glove. Get a man's glove. Don't
For a
have
football
some,
game?
Hey, that pocket became a closet.
Get rid of that white glove. You look like a big sissy, for God's sake. You look like Michael Jackson, for God's sake.
And you don't play
Get a
quarterback in the
man's
NFL looking
Get-
like Michael Jackson.
Get a nice golf glove.
I talked
black
to
golf
several.
glove.
I
Don't
talked
have-
to several players after the game, and they said Detroit did nothing that they didn't expect. That it was all about execution.
I don't believe that.
What do you think? You think they had a different game plan?
They're playing a guy at right guard who nobody wanted. They signed him as a free agent. The left tackle, what happened to him, nobody seems to know. He had a great rookie year, and Charlie Johnson is the one guy there have the center. And I'll tell you what, I pretty close to him, and he was beat up today.
Yeah, I talked to him for
And-
quite a while. He's another one that said it was execution.
And he didn't want to rip anybody, but you could just see he was not happy with how some guys played in the offensive line.
I can't believe that Detroit's actually going to let Sue walk like people think they're going to. They're going to have to use the franchise tag on
That's
him, even
weird.
if he doesn't want it or not. Even
Before-
if he doesn't want it, right?
Before the season started, the Twins were in Detroit. I was talking to Lions fans, and the Lions fans like, "Yeah, we got to trade him or get rid of him." I'm like, "What? Dominican Sue?
He's a
People would kill
monster.
to have him."
He's
Yeah.
the second coming of
So
Warren
where's that coming
Sapp.
from?
Well, I got to tell you, the other night, defensive players you talk about, J.J. Watt took over a football game for about a half there on Thursday night. They ended up losing, but he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, batted down. You forgot how good a really good defensive player, what they can do for a game. That must have been like Alan Page, huh?
Well, Detroit gets Clowney healthy on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he'll never get double teamed.
Is that what Page was like in his best?
Yes.
Was he that disruptive, that kind of deal where he'd have...
Sid remembers this was a game they played at Memorial Stadium, and he got called for slapping a guy's helmet a couple of times, and he got mad. And it was the damnedest thing he ever saw.
Really?
I think by the time he was done, it was 4th and 38 or some
Really?
damn thing. I mean, because he was, 270 and fast as you could be.
Was Page the best you ever saw here,
Page,
defensive line-wise?
yeah, he was one of the best until the end, and then he,
Yeah, but in his prime.
yeah, in his prime, he was outstanding. Yeah.
Well, he was the MVP of the league as a defensive tackle.
That says something, yep.
That first
Really
ever
start-
defensive player, and Lawrence
start
Taylor's
losing
the only
weight.
other one.
Take a break, come back, stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
He's become a minor celebrity, but behind the glamorous lifestyle, Stuart Mills III has an agenda we can't afford. Mills inherited millions. Now he's running for Congress on a plan to give more big tax breaks to millionaires like himself, even as he opposed cutting taxes for 95% of Minnesotans. Stuart Mills III is for himself, not you. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's what's inside that counts. But it never hurts to make a good first impression.
With an aggressive grille and sleek design, the Toyota Corolla sure is a head-turner. But what's most impressive about this car is what you'll find inside. Thanks to its available Entune Premium Audio with navigation and app suite, you can rock out to your jams while never having to worry about getting lost. Right now, get an incredible 0% APR financing on a new 2015 Corolla. Or lease Corolla for just $169 a month.
It all starts at Toyota. Let's go places.
Unwrap fresh new flavors at Subway with the new Poblano collection. Boasting a bounty of thickly carved steak stands the new Poblano Prime Rib and Bacon Melt. Behold its tender braised beef marinated in a zesty poblano pepper glaze with a mild chili flavor. Then topped with sizzling bacon, melty cheese, and a final touch of that sensational sauce. And the feast rolls on with the new Poblano BLT Melt in all its hot and crispy glory. Experience the fresh flavors of the new Poblano collection while it's here. Subway, eat fresh.
See why more people are coming to Audi than ever before at Audi Minneapolis. Experience the legendary performance and handling of an A4 2.0 T Quattro. Lease yours for only $379 a month. Plus, Audi Minneapolis will make your first month's payment. Or try out the luxury and power of an A6. Lease for just $499 a month. The Summer of Audi event at Audi Minneapolis on 394 at General Mills Boulevard and at AudiMinneapolis.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, and great outdoor dining, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington, locally owned, nationally known, Hoyt's.
Locally owned, nationally known, J.D. Hoyt's coming downtown for any event. You stop on by J.D. Hoyt's, you visit with Pat, you have a good time and a good meal.
I'd say we're going to the Rose Bowl, but this year the Rose Bowl is not the Big Ten champion. This year the Rose Bowl is part of the playoffs, so we'll have to go to a different bowl.
There we go.
What's your take on the Gophers?
Well, I thought the Gophers, once they got people healthy, would be pretty good. That was a great freshman squad they had last year. I was talking to Killa today. I said, do you have any red shirts left? He said, you're darn right. We got 4 offensive linemen that can be playing right now if we needed them. He said, we got some pretty good. They got that Jeff Jones from Washburn. He's going to be eligible
eventually
in January. And the rest of the way, until they get to the end of the season, I think they can beat Iowa here. I think they can beat Illinois at Illinois. I think
you and I and Maxie could beat Illinois.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even need Lavelle.
Hey, we stay within 10 points of Wisconsin.
But what they've got, Sid, is depth on defense. They never used to have depth on defense.
They didn't have.
I think they can beat Wisconsin down there. What do you
They're
think?
nothing great. They got a quarterback issue.
They don't have a quarterback.
They didn't have. They not only didn't have depth on defense, Maxie. They didn't have starters on defense.
But they've gone and found it. It's not just their defensive backs or first line, but they got like 8 guys that can play defensive back.
They beat a good football team.
It was really a fun football game to watch.
Yeah, good team to watch.
I said it was a fun game to watch because every possession meant something.
Both ways. Northwestern's a good football team. I think they'll beat Nebraska at home this week.
That's who they play? That's who Northwestern plays, huh?
Northwestern's at home.
Yeah.
I think the Gophers can win 9 games. I can see them going 9-3 because they're going to beat Illinois and Purdue. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State, and I don't think they're going to win at Nebraska. But if Wisconsin plays the way they played against Illinois on Saturday, the Gophers can beat Wisconsin. They've got a couple good linebackers, love the running back. They can't throw, and their secondary makes mistakes. So I think the Gophers can win that game at the end of the year.
Patrick?
Yeah, I agree with him. The only thing, they'd have to get a bus crash to lose the next 2 weeks. So against those 2 collections, Purdue and Illinois. So the schedule worked out great for them.
So they can win the jug, they can win the axe. What else can they? I think they can win all 4. The pig, there's a 4th, isn't there?
Well, the bell they already got for Penn State, and they don't play
They can be in control of all 4 rivalry
Do we have the
trophies.
bell? Do we have the
Oh, yeah,
bell?
last year they beat Penn State.
Oh,
So
so
they've
we
got
got
the
the
bell.
bell.
Yeah.
We could have all 4 trophies.
Yeah. This is the darndest thing with this Southern football that you see with this Mississippi and Mississippi State and
It's amazing.
Texas A&M. You watch any of these games?
That's where Wormuth came from. He came from not Mississippi.
State, Mississippi State.
Huh?
He came from Mississippi State.
Yeah. They probably got half the population Minnesota's got. And they got 3 major Division I schools, plus they got about 5 or 6 junior college schools.
That's where they get their players from.
Where all this Minnesota gets 2, 3 guys
and
every
McKinley
year.
a couple years
They're
ago.
from there.
Well, Mississippi State last won an SEC title in 1941, and Mississippi last won an SEC title in 1963. But you know what Mississippi State had for a couple of years that they didn't have for 70 years? They had Coach Brew.
That's right.
They had Coach Brew signing players for them. This is Coach Brew's team, and the number 2 team in the country, that's Coach Brew's team, too.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Hey, just watch out for
How
Mississippi.
did you locate local people connected with Mississippi? How did you do that?
I looked it up, and there's an Old Miss club in Minnesota. There's a club, yeah.
All I know is this: Mississippi is starting to get recruits from Chicago, so I expect them to be on the NCAA probation within 5 years. The kids start coming down from Chicago. What's going on with that?
Oregon started getting them from all over.
That's right.
You know, so Chip Kelly went to the NFL, to Philadelphia.
I don't think there's any great teams nationally this year like there has
There's
been
some
in
pretty
the past.
entertaining teams.
I don't
Like
know.
Alabama was, like Florida State was, like USC
Have you
was.
watched these? Have you watched some of these teams and the athletes they got? Oh man!
That Baylor TCU game
You
yesterday.
think there's some great team?
Yeah, I
There's
think
great
there's
teams.
about 8 of them.
I think what's hard is to be a really good defense in college football.
I agree.
How about that Baylor score? What was it?
61-58.
61, 20,
Yeah.
58. TCU had a 21-point lead with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And lost.
And I was down at that TCU game. And their defense looked so athletic that day against the Gophers, which tells you maybe a little bit about speed. But
One thing that's proven right now is that Gophers lost to a pretty good TCU team.
yeah,
Yeah, but they got 7 points against a team that just gave up 61.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
I think Oregon's a pretty good team too. I think that's a team to be reckoned with Marcus Mariota at
But they
quarterback.
better win them all now.
Yeah, they have to
already
win
got
them.
a loss.
Yeah.
You
I'll
don't
tell
go
you,
along with me,
those
but
West Coast games are nice on a Saturday, though. Aren't they?
Yep.
Get one late game you can watch, and it's kind of fun at the end of the day.
There's always a shootout. Last week it was Cal and Washington State, with a quarterback for Washington State threw for 737 yards, and this week we have 61-58. There's a shootout every week now.
Take a break, come back, sports show.
Gophers going to.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Allery's, the original St. Paul sports bar, now with 65 beers on tap.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then, a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, recording your results. Call now to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
In a world full of compromise, the Audi A3 takes a different path. Get uncompromised design, the style and presence of Audi in a lighter, smaller form. Uncompromised performance, a lightning-quick turbocharged engine, and race-bred S-tronic transmission. Uncompromised luxury with standard leather seating and panoramic sunroof. Lease your A3 for only $299 a month. Plus, during the Summer of Audi event, Audi Minneapolis will make your first payment. Stay uncompromised. Audi Minneapolis.
Say hi to the folks at Audi Minneapolis and test drive an A8. Yeah, Audi Minneapolis. It's a great way to go. Say hi to Charlie and the gang. Take it for a test drive. Find out how it works for all 4 seasons. I drive the Q7 and just love it. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Adrian Peterson down in Houston. What was your take when he said, I smoked a little weed? How did that strike you?
I can see how they can ever play him again.
In Minnesota?
For this reason, he fumbles, and some fans gonna go get that whip.
Yeah, it could say mean things.
Yeah.
Lavelle, what was your take on it?
I think
Well, we haven't seen the results of the drug test. Was he joking? Will he pass
True,
the
that's
test?
a good point.
And, I guess if I'm Rusty Harden and if he passes the drug test, I'm going to say he was just kidding.
Wouldn't Rusty and him have already told us he was just kidding if that had been the case?
That's a good point, Patrick. I'm curious to see what happens there because if he did fail the drug test, then I think the NFL has the right to suspend him without pay.
What's your take on Rusty Harden? You saw him with Clemens. Can you outsmart them all?
I'd take him.
He's a meteor whore.
I'd take him.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Would he take?
Rusty Harden as an attorney.
I'd
Would you
if
take
I
him?
ever needed a lawyer.
I guess so.
I don't know why I would. I'm a very patient fella, but.
Adrian Peterson is going to get, unless he's found not guilty. Does he get? He gets no penalty for the weed. Unless he's found not guilty, he'll get some suspension. He won't play this year.
I wouldn't.
And they aren't going to pay him.
How do you suspend him if he's not guilty? Suspend him for what? I mean, what would you suspend him for?
For hitting the kid.
Can you, if you're not guilty?
If he gets, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play for the Vikings in December. If there's a November.
Here's why I would. Because the Vikings internally are trying to distance themselves so far from him.
But if he's acquitted, what are they going to do? Just keep paying him?
Is the trial going to be in November or
I
December?
think so.
Well, November 1st.
If it's December 1st,
how
long is it going to take them to get ready to play?
If they don't have the trial till the December.
No, but it's November 1st is what wasn't that the...
No, I think it's going to be December
1st. Oh, okay. Well, if he gets... I bet he walks. I bet he doesn't.
I bet he walks
but
too.
But how soon will it take him to be ready to play? Could he just walk out of a court hearing and start playing?
They're throwing all the Adrian Peterson stuff out there. You don't see any pictures.
He's probably been working. He's probably working out every
working out, but getting in game shape
is totally different.
I think he'd have to work out quite a bit to beat out Matt Asiata and Jerry McKinnon, too.
So, okay,
point taken.
Joe Barnyard.
Next year at this time, where do you think Adrian Peterson will be playing, if you're just taking a guess?
Oakland.
Won't be Dallas.
Oakland.
They got DeMarco Murray. He'll be. I have no idea.
He'll be
Oakland's
the,
easy
the
one.
land of the misfit players. He'll be the Oakland Raiders.
But if Michael Vick could rebuild himself, coming out of jail, there's no reason Adrian Peterson can't.
That's correct.
Sid?
I've never seen anything get the publicity that Adrian Peterson's got him. The other day on that pot thing, 6-column headline, everything he does is a 6-column headline in our paper.
Yeah.
I thought our guys did a pretty good job on that story, but according to the Vikings, they claim a lot of it was inaccurate. Like, you expect them to say that.
Well, a lot of it was charges, but nothing came of it.
All right, let's get Sid on the record right now. All right, Sid, so, because you have a history of backing the guy that everybody hates. Tubby Smith at the end, Monson at the end, Christian Ponder near the end. You're on the record now saying you will not throw any support toward Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Well, anything you say, Lavelle.
No, he's asking. He's asking.
You're an expert.
But do you support Adrian Peterson or not? What would you do if you're the Vikings?
I'd play him.
If he was acquitted?
If he's acquitted, yeah, I'd play him.
You wouldn't think twice?
I say you can, but media can say anything you want. I could care less. The Wolves are all for playing him if he's not guilty.
The Wolves had their own set of issues, man, trying to get along with downtown Minneapolis folks. Back after this.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Case Law, for all your legal needs, not your typical law firm. And Griffin Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, Christian Ponder, the Wild, Zach Parisi, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. Justin Bieber! Hey, I like him first. For details, go to ticketkingonline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Beacon Bank, call Bob Wise direct. He runs it, he owns it. Although he might be in North Dakota hunting some ducks these days, but you get the idea. Reliable, responsive, reassuring, great business partner in life. Welcome back to the Sports Show. I guess it's been a long time since the Twins have looked for a manager. It's kind of been underwhelming to hear some of the names so far. Lavelle, you follow this on a daily basis.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the same group of guys as all the hot, upcoming young guys who did well in the minors. Are major league coaches. Joe McEwing rocketed up the White Sox system as third base coach. Torey Lovullo rocketed up the Boston organization. He's the bench coach. Chip Hale, bench coach. So those are the guys that are usually going to get all the interviews.
Baseball's getting to be more like the NFL. They're hiring us, they're hiring coaches instead of going out and getting recycled managers.
Yeah, and they don't even care to come from a winning team.
They got the manager. They're playing games. They figure they got to talk to a lot of people. I am more sure than ever that Molitor's the guy.
I agree.
That's who Jim Pohlad wants.
I think
that's who Dave St. Peter wants. That's who Terry Ryan wants.
But I agree with Lou last week when he says that baseball people should be making those decisions. Owners should not be making decisions on managers. But it seems like we're retracing history here, because the last time Terry did a managerial search, he talked to Lynn Jones, Freddie Gonzalez, Tony Pena, Willie Randolph, hired Gardy.
And Paul Molitor.
Yeah, and Molitor. Briefly, Molitor pulled himself out of the running when he found out he wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So it looks like we may be retracing history here. But Terry would have to have his socks knocked off by one of these outside candidates.
Do you think it's Molitor against the field, and then unless somebody can
I would
wow him?
I agree. I think that's the way you have to look at it. And Terry would have to convince the Pohlads and Dave St. Peter that that guy is the right person to lead this team.
He won't. He's not. He wants Molitor too. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I was told that Terry likes Molitor. He doesn't know if he doesn't like him that much.
Molitor knows all the minor league players. Players want him unanimously.
Did you take a survey? Did you take a survey? Did you take a survey?
Oh, yeah, he took a survey on his way back. He decided that was the way to go.
I have no trouble with Paul, but I'd love to see the guy with the long name from A-Ball.
McCavish.
Give
you more enthusiasm.
Unless he finds somebody that he thinks is just a superstar.
Quickly, the Wild start out the season by outscoring Colorado 8-0 in 2 games. What's your take?
Looks like they're pretty good.
Anything else?
That's all I know.
You've always said goaltending was very important.
What Sid says, if you give up none, you're going to have a damn good chance to win.
I didn't say the goaltending.
You said goaltending is very important in hockey.
Nanny said the goaltending.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.